Hey guys, welcome back to Adventure Camping. Tactical Nut here with a new knife review for you. Now this one I have not purchased. It actually came to me on loan from a friend of mine who's really into knives, him and his son. And today we're going to talk about the Kershaw Zing. Now, you see this, US produced, but this is a R.J. Martin design, model number 1735. Kershaw logo there. Now, before I get into anything, there's obviously one thing that's probably really going to stick out to you. So I'll go ahead and talk about that first. You see all those little grooves in there? All the way across the knife. It gives it a very good textured, 3D kind of coming at you look. When my buddy gave it to me, he was just like, well, I'm not really sure what they're for. I think it's more of, just kind of make it look cool or whatever. So I did some research and come to find out that there is a real purpose for those little grooves. Now, what it does is it will reduce the amount of surface area by almost 80% of the material that's coming into contact with your knife as you're cutting. So after reading that, I'm like, that's actually really cool. I mean, pretty innovative design, I would say. I've definitely never seen another blade like it, so I thought that was pretty cool. And it's made, so I'll go ahead and do the specs now. I just wanted to get that out of the way because I know it stands out and I thought it was pretty interesting. This is made from a Sandvick 14C 28N steel, which is a Swedish steel, obviously, but it's US produced and US made. They just use a steel from Sweden. Now this thing came to me from that friend of mine, razor sharp. So I haven't used it a ton because I didn't want to hard use it. I did use it for all of your EDC tasks, like cutting open boxes, packages, mail, strings, or any other kind of anything that you come in contact with in everyday life. Instead of grabbing scissors, I usually almost always grab a knife. But here you will see almost a partially open pillar. It does have a back spacer here. Personally, I would prefer to be completely open, but it's not my design, so pocket clip, which is really nice. I think the pocket clip is really cool. The only problem I have was that it's really tight. Had it been mine, I would have bent it a little bit to make it easier getting in and out of my pocket, but the only, since it's not mine, I'm not going to alter it. But I mean, I really think that's a pretty cool look that they have. Now this is, as you can see, a three-way pocket clip. You'll have, as you can see, you can carry it here, or you can turn it upside down and carry it tip up, tip down, or on the other side, only tip up, because there is no pocket clip there. Now this may be the first time I've ever seen a three-way pocket clip. Normally it's 1, 2, or 4, but is what it is. Now as you see here, you've got a flipper. Only one thing about that flipper, yeah, that's not broken. It's just not spring assisted. Kind of threw me at first. I get my buddy and I'm like, is something broke with your knife, man? Is something not working? He's just like, nah, it's always been that way. It's not supposed to be spring assisted. So now for me, I mean, it whips right out. But I had to notice that to do it, I needed to have my hand palm up, back of my hand coming towards the ground. Because even like this, took a little while of getting the timing down to make it come out smooth. So a little bit of a training issue there with it, but I got to a point where it didn't take me very long that every time I opened it, I'm automatically open it with palm up. So it just uses gravity and kind of flops right open. As you can see, there was a very light attempt at jimping on the back. Blade spine is good. I mean, the blades, it's a 3-inch blade, so it's about the typical, or about the shortest blade I typically use in a knife. I've got another one that I'm getting ready to put, I took out of testing and review because this one came up. It's the new Schrade. Because I didn't want to keep this one too long. It's a buddy's, and then, I know how knife guys are. You don't want to go without your knives, even if you're not using it every day. But it also will use, I keep getting sidetracked on myself, you got ambidextrous thumb studs that I really like the shape of these because they work really well with the shape of your thumb. You see how they're slanted right here? It's kind of hard to tell. That's a little bit better picture. So when you got it closed, it is really easy for your thumb to get a purchase on that. I'm trying to do it for the camera. Sideways, it's kind of hinky, but yeah, so I really like the thumb studs. Really comfortable. They get a real good bite into your thumb, so your thumb never even comes close to slipping off. Once you do get it moving, it does fly open, so it's cool. G10 handle scales, or I've seen different things on different websites, and I've seen injected polythermide or something like that, and G10 on some. I'm not 100% sure if that is the exact same thing and just a different description, because I've never heard G10 referred to as anything else. But the way they described it was exactly like G10. So I'll leave it up to you for you and your own research. Now, cool little knife. Really, I mean, it's maybe only like a 3-ounce knife. So very lightweight. You don't even notice you have it in your pocket, which is really, really cool. Liner lock, as you can see, the lockup is perfect there. No blade play left or right, up or down, back and forth. I mean, it's solid. And like I said, I mean, I haven't touched the blade up. I maybe should have before started this review. Sorry, still itching from the chigger bites from the survival kit test. But let's see if this still will do what it did when I first got this knife. It's really humid out here. Oh, you're not watching. I mean, I could just sit here and whee! I mean, you can make confetti yourself. What I was trying to show you is that it was, I mean, I was cutting designs. Let me hold in. I'm sorry. It's so humid out here. This paper, I've been out here for 10 minutes kind of prepping for this and started filming. So the paper's already getting kind of damp. But as you can see, just from the way it's taking this, sorry, wrong side of the paper. I mean, it was ridiculous sharp. I probably need to touch it up just a little bit before I give it back to him, because you always give it back in the condition that you get it, right? There's only 2 major problems with this knife that I see. As you can see, I've pretty much just been singing his praises since I got here, or since I started this, because there's really not much to complain about. Extremely lightweight. It's got great steel, razor sharp, cool design, not just because it looks cool, but it's very functional. So this is going to reduce friction on the medium whatever you're cutting, you know. So if you're cutting a tree, packages, you know, whatever, tape, wood, I wouldn't definitely, I mean, this is kind of small and lightweight for a woods blade, but you could do notching and everything else with it, because I did do some of that, which is really cool. The surface area is reduced, but there's only, like I said, 2 major problems. One is that, from what I'm finding, this model right here, it has been discontinued. I saw one website, and I really wish I would have wrote the name down, just for your sake. You can Google it and find out. One website that was still selling this one right here, but it only had an orange handle, and it was like $50-something, $52, $53. They had this exact one on eBay. 2 people did. One for like $92, $93. The other one was like $100. Now, do I think it's worth the purchase from eBay? No. I think this was about 40 bucks when it was new. It was first being out. Like I said, kind of hard to find. So if you liked knives that have a limited edition run, this is kind of the same thing, or maybe for you, just like Spyderco, how they do limited edition runs, which Microtech, same thing. Now those are some really high dollar knives, and they gain in value, but there might be a possibility that this happens with this one, since it is discontinued. It may have been just a flop, I don't know, and that's why they stopped. But the fact is, this is a very cool, very functional little blade that I kind of wish was mine. But this is my buddy's gift to his son. I guess he gets him a new knife every year for his birthday. As you can see, they didn't skeletonize the linings, but they didn't have to. This knife is just so lightweight. You might go to tell about this today. So lightweight, you know, it didn't really matter. But the other problem I have, one that was just discontinued, or not just discontinued, but that it was, is this. To me, personally, for me, don't put a flipper on a knife that is not spring assisted. I don't know why that bugs me so much, but it does. And look, I still got this star Baby Glock put on me earlier today. Isn't that nice? I'll leave it. But I don't know, because if I see this, because I have spring-assisted knives that I love, but if I see this, I want to go, and they go all the way. I know that's just weird. That's just me, maybe. But don't put a flipper on the knife. Now, it's a training issue. It's just, I mean, like I got to the point where I open it, I flick it open the same way. But just for me, if there's a flipper, I want a flipper because I want it to be spring-assisted. I can do this with any knife. It's not difficult, you know, I'm used to it. I use a lot of knives, so if you're going to put a flipper, Kershaw, put a spring in it. Make it go a little faster, because I'm trying to teach Baby Glock how to open this knife, and she's like, eh! And she's trying to get her hand out there and flick it, you know. Way easier if it just snapped open all on its own. But that's just me. I don't design knives, and I'm not a millionaire, so who am I to speak or make fun? Alright, now, as you can see, Ergonomics. I'll kind of fly through the rest of this. It's getting a little bit long. Fits perfect in my hand. Well, I won't say perfect. I get about the first 3 fingers. The pinky kind of needs a little home there. But that's okay. It's a small blade. I'm not expecting to get a full big hand grip on it. But, I mean, it feels great. It's comfortable. I could do extended cutting with it. I mean, when I was just shaving a lot of wood, and by the way, I've used this knife a ton and have not touched the blade up yet. Just to show you, when I was just slicing through that paper, I mean, I've been using this for 3 weeks, and I mean, flawless edge retention. I mean, that's just awesome. So, I don't know. I would say they have another Kershaw Zing that's out there still, but it doesn't have the R.J. Martin design as far as this. The blade texturing. But you can find them. You got to do a little searching. They're out there to get this exact one. But the Kershaw, the regular Zing, I still think is about 40 bucks, between 30 and 40, depending on the website you find. Woo! When you get a little carried away. All right. So, would I recommend this? Yes, if you could find it, definitely go out and get it. I think I'll do a little research. I'll probably post it in the notes below. I think the Kershaw Zing, that it has the plain or the typical blade grind and all that, I think it is spring assisted now, but this one is not. Oh yeah, the real problem I had, this was a bead blast finish. There was actually some rust that was building up here that I don't know if my buddy's son was aware of, so I cleaned that up. But there's a really bad thing about putting a bead blast finish on a blade, is that it actually makes the steel more prone to rusting. So that's why I won't ever, I have one, I think just one knife that has a bead blast finish, and I learned my lesson real quick. I'm not going to do it. For a knife just sitting in my car was rusting. So, or even in my garage, depending on where I kept it, when I wasn't using it, the thing was rusting all the time. So I'm not going to do that again. Good steel, good blade. Good handle, good texturing. It's fun, it's cool, good conversation piece when you pull that out. It does catch people's attention, and especially when you're around knife guys, they're like, hey dude, what's that about, you know? Cool, highly recommend it. Go out and get one. You'll not even know it's in your pocket. In the meantime, be prepared, have fun.